The View host just exposed another reason voters are fleeing the Dems. I mean, these women are unserious. They hackle all the time, don't know what they're talking about. It's ridiculous. And they're condescending. That's what really got me. It's okay to have your own opinions and things of that nature, but they're not being honest at all. And again, they're dis, they're just condescending. It's ridiculous. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Now, when you hit that alarm bell, you can change it from personal to all. That way, you get all the notifications to know when I'm putting out stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. And there's also a link to my Instagram where I put out tons of news throughout the day, so check that out as well. All right, let's talk about this news. In the final run up to the election next Tuesday, the Democrats and their acolytes in the media are desperate to turn aside the red wave that they know is coming, unless they cheat, of course. I'm not saying that's going to happen, of course, but I think that's the only way they would win. Just to just to throw it out there. We saw Joe Biden give his final remarks on Wednesday night. It didn't address the chief concerns of Americans, inflation, and the rise in crime. Of course, they can't even talk about that because the onus is on them. So they can't even discuss crime or inflation. Instead, it was about demonizing his opponents and claiming there was a quote threat to democracy if people don't vote for Democrats, because the Biden team likes to redefine words. The recession isn't a recession, and the one party rule isn't fascism, it's democracy. Democrats thought concentrating on January 6th was going to help them get the GOP. Instead, it got them, ensnaring them in their propaganda. By hyper focusing on that, they have now convinced Americans that the Democrats don't give a darn about voters' real concerns. I mean, they totally ignore it. Even at the last minute on Wednesday night, Joe Biden was talking about January 6th and being divisive. While both Biden and Hillary Clinton are railing against the Republicans and election denial, they both spread nonsensical conspiracies that the Republicans were going to try to interfere in or suppress votes in the election in some way. So it's okay for them to say that, but if I say that, I get booted from platforms. That's not right. So, what is their anger at election denial worth when they both are pushing it and both also push it over the 2016 election? And, I talked about that to ad nauseum. It's okay for them to deny the 2016 election, but if I say anything about the 2020 election, then I will get booted from YouTube. So I'm not saying that anything YouTube. I'm not saying that anything happened during 2020. It was a fair election in 2020. YouTube, just to let y'all know, I'm not saying anything happened in 2020, but it's all Democrats have left. Voters are fleeing them in great numbers, as we previously reported. One of their core voter groups, white suburban women, and I've reported on that to ad nauseum, have had enough too, and are running to the Republicans in great numbers. We got a record number of Black Americans are voting Republican, record number of Hispanics. Now the Hispanics are actually voting Republican more than Democrats right now, and now the Democrats have lost the white suburban women. The GOP has seen a shift in its favor among several voter groups, what I was just alluding to, including Latino voters and women, particularly white suburban women. That group, which the pollsters said make up 20% of the electorate, shifted 26 percentage points away from Democrats since the Journal's August poll, and now favors the GOP by 15 percentage points. That's a massive shift that portends doom for the Democrats. What was their reaction to the news? Sunny Holston from The View shows us. I mean, it was ridiculous. She says, quote, "I read a poll just yesterday that white Republican suburban women are now going to vote Republican," Holston said. "It's," quote, "it's almost like roaches voting for raid. These are the ridiculous comments that they make on the View. First, the poll didn't say that. The poll didn't say Republican women. It just said white suburban women moving to vote Republican. So they didn't start off Republican. They moved there. Idiot. I mean, common sense, logic will tell you this. But this is what they think of you, white suburban women. You're just roaches to them. What respect these quote unquote feminists have for women who think differently than them? They can't tell you why to vote for Democrats since they've seen such a failure. They can't. They can only attack other people, saying voters were too stupid to understand what they should be focused on, and calling people roaches is not exactly a way to attract someone to your point of view. Hillary Clinton did something similar, and I did a report on that. Democrats are their own worst enemies. The problem being they don't care what you care about. They only care about their power. And Matt Whitlock tweeted something great. He said, "Hello ABC. Is anybody keeping track of Wine Mom's Story Hour? Somebody should check on Sonny. Imagine arguing that suburban women should vote for the guy who drove up food and gas prices, made neighborhoods less safe, and can't even ensure a steady supply of baby formula." But they don't think about that. Like I keep saying, these people live in a bubble. So they don't worry about food prices like that. They don't worry about, baby formula because they probably got connections and things like that. They don't care about normal things that normal people care about. They live in their bubble. Maybe driving up prices and creating shortages just might be a small factor influencing people. If you can't even accept that reality, you shouldn't wonder why people are fleeing your party. But let me know what you think. Leave comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and check out democrepublics.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.